Published, 7:52 EST. January 9, 2018, updated, 1829 EST, January 9, 2018. Helicopters were finally able to access one of Switzerland's most popular alpine resorts as the evacuation of thousands of stranded skiers began, on Tuesday evening after blizzard-like conditions saw train travel rendered impossible. Heavy snowfall had trapped around 13,000 tourists at the ski resort Zermatt, with many indulging in a spot of après-ski to pass the time. The snow has blocked all roads and the train leading to Zermatt, in the southern Swiss canton of Valais, leaving thousands stranded at the resort, head of the train station Janine Imesch said. Scroll down for video. Helicopters were finally able to access one of Switzerland's most popular alpine resorts as the evacuation of some of the thousands of stranded skiers began on Tuesday evening. Due to heavy snowfall and rain showers, Zermatt can only be reached by air. Pictures show an avalanche crossing over a train track and road on the way towards Zermatt. With 105 inches of snow at its deepest, Swiss authorities have closed ski slopes, hiking trails, cable cars, roads and train service into the town amid a heightened risk of avalanche. Community workers remove snow off a path in Zermatt, Switzerland. Due to heavy snowfall and rain showers, Zermatt can only be reached by air. Swiss authorities have closed ski slopes, hiking trails, cable cars, roads and train service into the town of Zermatt amid a heightened risk of avalanches, stranding some 13,000 tourists in the town. Children walk past trees after heavy snowfall in Sassfi village, near Zermatt in the Swiss Alps, with nearby roads, trains, cable cars, ski slopes and hiking trails into the town closed. Swiss authorities deployed helicopters to ferry some tourists to a nearby village to escape the snowbound Alpine Valley. A helicopter lands as some tourists were finally able to leave the Alpine resort on Tuesday afternoon. This graphic shows why Zermatt is now only reachable by air. The shaded area depicts the closed roads and the red line is the train line which runs into the town. With the entire town on lockdown, workers are tirelessly trying to clear snow from the roads and rails to get people and goods in and out, but keen to not be defeated by the blizzard-like conditions. Many skiers have been enjoying the second most popular pastime on the slopes by putting their boots away and getting the beers in. Taking to social media to share their exploits, trapped skiers have been settling in for a few pints while frolicking in the thick snow for fun. One woman dug herself a trench outside of the ski chalet, another was buried up to her chest to show just how deep the snow went. The routes Stalden, Sassgrund and Sassgrund, Sassalmagel are closed to all traffic and there is a severe avalanche danger in place. The following routes are also closed: Grengiels, Viertel, Zermatt, Furienbin, Imfeldosserbin, Bin and Bister, Grengiels. The routes from Stalden, Torbel and Durfg are closed until further notice. The Simplon Pass is completely closed for all vehicles until further notice. Dozens more have posed for selfies while emergency service workers ensure the resort is made safe amid the blizzard-like conditions. Praising the tourists' optimism in the face of difficult weather conditions, train station manager Imesch explained, "It is not possible to do downhill or cross-country skiing, but that's okay. It's a bit romantic." She added, "There is no panic. There are currently around 13,000 tourists at Zermatt," she said, while the station website warned that arrivals and departures are not possible at the moment. The main access road has been closed since early yesterday, while the train was halted last night, she said. Part of widespread weather chaos across the region, Zermatt is not the only resort to have suffered heavy blizzard-like conditions. Tignes, another ski resort, in the French Alps saw more than 62 inches of snow in the past 48 hours, while Sistrier in Italy, a few miles from the French borders, saw more than 30 inches fall. Zermatt is home to about 5,500 inhabitants and has the capacity to accommodate 13,400 tourists spread across hotels and rental apartments, but the stranded tourists will not be able to take advantage of the abundant snow for the time being, due to the high risk of avalanches in the area. It is not possible to do downhill or cross-country, but that's okay. It's a bit romantic, Imesch said, adding, "There is no panic." Experienced mountaineer Bruno Delk told SRF that roads will slowly be in a position to be reopened, but that Zermatt would remain completely unreachable until at least tomorrow. He said, "Tonight the place will hardly be reachable. We have to be able to blow up the snow first. Then the train needs a startup time for commissioning, and I guess Zermatt will be back in action during the course of tomorrow." A tractor works remove the snow off the road with a snowblower in Zermatt, Switzerland, as children play in the heavy snow. An aerial view of Zermatt on Tuesday shows the snow piled high, covering tables at an outdoor restaurant overlooking the town. A skier enjoys a quiet moment in a man-made snow trench as the ski resort of Zermatt, at the base of the famed Matterhorn mountain. is closed in by snow. A woman stands in several feet of snow after huge amounts of precipitation in the Alps trapped about 13,000 tourists in the resort. Young skiers enjoy the snow in Zermatt, Switzerland, Tuesday. After Swiss authorities closed the slopes, the thrill seekers were forced to find their own piste. Snow continues to batter the village of Saas-Fee near Zermatt in the Swiss Alps as workers tackle the enormous task of clearing the snow with the slopes out of action. People were forced into the town of Zermatt, Switzerland, on Tuesday to enjoy the local amenities. Good time to get the beers in, a group of tourists, enjoy some ale while, emergency services attempt to free them from the resort. Some trapped visitors have taken to social media to show off their new surroundings. Pictured, the guests enjoying themselves in the snow. A sign shows which slopes are open for skiing in Saas-Fee village, near Zermatt in the Swiss Alps. The red lights indicate the closures. A woman shows off the depth of the snow as it continues to fall around her. On Tuesday there are currently around 13,000 tourists at Zermatt, while the station website warned that arrivals and departures are not possible at the moment. The snow has blocked all roads and the train leading to the resort in the southern Swiss canton of Valais, which was also hit by some power outages. Head of the station Janine Imesch said Zermatt is home to about 5,500 inhabitants and has the capacity to accommodate 13,400 tourists spread across hotels and rental apartments. A reconnaissance flight is planned over the area to help determine the situation and how to proceed. Pictured, tractors clearing snow near the train station. All travel was cancelled as heavy snowfall blocked trains from moving earlier in the day. A snow-covered train clears the line as it begins moving again. Workers remove snow beside the Zermatt train station after heavy snowfall and avalanches trapped more than 13,000 tourists. 105-inch snow depth. A meteorological data visualization map shows the snowfall and cover around the Zermatt area, with a key indicating the depth in inches of snowfall. It is not possible to do downhill or cross-country, but that's okay. It's a bit romantic, Imesch said, adding, there is no panic. Pictured, a webcam showing the snow-covered resort. A number of other Valais villages were also isolated by the heavy snow. The Simplon region of Valais was hit by 3.5 feet of snow in a 24-hour period, the ATS news agency reported. Pictured, workers clearing the snow outside Zermatt train station. Despite her optimism, however, Commune President Romy Binerhauser said that every precaution is being taken since the avalanche threat is at maximum, or extreme apostrophe. He told Le Nouvelist, the situation is being monitored every half an hour and if things change, we will take the necessary measures. The Swiss Federal Institute for Forest, Snow and Landscape Research warned of numerous large, and, in many cases, very large avalanches. It went on, from starting zones that have retained some snow the avalanches can reach an exceptionally long way. Exposed buildings and exposed parts of transportation routes are endangered. Extensive safety measures are to be maintained, in particular for the late morning. In the afternoon the natural avalanche activity will decrease. Without question, it is inadvisable to engage in ski touring, freeriding and snowshoe hiking outside marked and open pistes. A reconnaissance flight is planned over the area to help determine the situation and how to proceed. A number of other Valais villages were also isolated by the heavy snow. The Simplon region of Valais was hit by 3.5 feet of snow in a 24-hour period, the ATS news agency reported. Mud and rock slides, as well as flooding, have forced the closure of a number of roads across Valais, as has the risk of avalanches, which regional police have said is currently at the highest possible level. A tractor pushes a contraption designed to break up solid snow and ice to make it movable before clearing the roads and paths. A hut is covered with a thick blanket of snow on its roof in the village of Saas-Fee, near Zermatt in the Swiss Alps. People look at the info screen showing cancelled routes at the empty bus station in Zermatt, Switzerland. Due to heavy snowfall and rain showers, Zermatt can only be reached by air. Trains remain cancelled while snow covers the tracks, trapping the thousands of tourists in the blizzard-like conditions. Tourists are pictured ignoring a road closed sign after heavy snowfall and avalanches trapped more than 13,000 tourists at Zermatt. Members of the Anais family from Singapore are stranded at the Zermatt train station after heavy snowfall and avalanches beyond Valais. The first men's World Cup downhill training run in Wengen, in the canton of Bern, was cancelled Tuesday due to snow and high winds, organizers said. Pictured, Zermatt after the heavy snowfall. Overnight winds of up to 125 miles per hour also meant there was significant damage to infrastructure on the course, notably at the finish area where tents and the stands were hit. Pictured, the scene at the resort overnight. Tourists walk past emergency workers beside the Zermatt train station after heavy snowfall and avalanches trapped more than 13,000 tourists at the resort. People walk past Zermatt train station as helicopters have begun to fly some stranded skiers out of the resort. Avalanche warning boards are on display at a closed area in the small resort of Zermatt. Swiss Alps overnight winds of up to 125 miles per hour also meant there was significant damage to infrastructure on the course, notably at the finish area where tents and the stands were hit. We are in the middle of a huge snowstorm here in #Zermatt. Currently the roads are closed, but the sun will eventually come out. Tweeted one stranded skier at lower altitudes. Heavy rains have meanwhile forced the evacuation of around 20 people from the tiny village of Heightened, and the hamlet of Motek was also emptied as a precaution, the RTS broadcaster reported. Beyond Valais, the first men's World Cup downhill training run in Wengen, in the canton of Bern, was cancelled Tuesday due to snow and high winds, organizers said. Overnight winds of up to 125 miles per hour also meant there was significant damage to infrastructure on the course, notably at the finish area where tents and the stands were hit. The piste itself was unaffected. Mud and rock slides, as well as flooding, have forced the closure of a number of roads across Valais, as has the risk of avalanches, which regional police have said is currently at the highest possible level. Swiss authorities have closed ski slopes, hiking trails, cable cars, roads and train service into the nearby town of Zermatt amid a heightened risk of avalanches. Debris in the Rohrbergweg area in Eichholz, Visp, Switzerland. Extreme weather conditions have affected tourists and residents around the Alps, with more than 60 inches of snowfall seen in some parts of France. Tignes, another ski resort, in the French Alps saw more than 62 inches of snow in the past 48 hours, while Sestriere in Italy, a few miles from the French borders, saw more than 30 inches fall. The dangerous conditions have even hit the Olympic Village in Italy, with an avalanche hitting buildings in Sestriere, damaging rooms and furniture. The authorities have evacuated 69 people, including several children, who have been put up in hotels, with the local council footing the bill. Roughly 100 people were evacuated from the Olympic Village built for the 2006 Winter Games. Authorities have issued a high avalanche alert due to heavy snowfalls in northern Italy. A paramedic inspects an apartment building covered with snow in the alpine town of Sestriere. The authorities have evacuated 69 people, including several children, who have been put up in hotels, with the local council footing the bill. The building has been declared unfit for access after paramedics swept it for injured parties. Authorities have issued a high avalanche alert due to heavy snowfalls in northern Italy. A view of a room covered with snow after an avalanche hit the Olympic Village of Sestriere. A fireman inspects a room covered with snow after an avalanche hit the Olympic Village of Sestriere. A man digs up his car covered with snow after an avalanche hit the Olympic Village of Sestriere. Part of widespread weather chaos across the region, Zermatt is not the only resort to have suffered heavy blizzard-like conditions. Tignes, another ski resort, in the French Alps saw more than 62 inches of snow in the past 48 hours, while Sestriere in Italy, a few miles from the French borders, saw more than 30 inches fall. The road leading from Val d'Isère to Tignes covered in ice and snow as hazardous weather strikes the region. Snow covers the hills surrounding the Tignes Dam in the French Alps on January